Karachi buzzed with chaotic energy. Amidst the honking rickshaws and bustling bazaars, Jason lived a simple life. He worked at the Karachi Electric Supply Company. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. Jason was content though. He had his comics, his chai, and his dreams of a brighter future. Little did he know his future was about to get a whole lot brighter. And a whole lot more electrifying. Jason wasn't anyone special, just a regular guy trying to make a living. He liked his job well enough. It was honest work. And sometimes, when the city lights flickered back on after a power cut, he felt a sense of satisfaction. He was a small part of keeping Karachi running. But Jason always yearned for more. He devoured comic books, his imagination ignited by tales of heroes and villains. He longed for adventure, for a chance to make a real difference. He just never expected that chance would come from a surge of electricity. Jason clocked in, the familiar hum of electricity a constant backdrop to his day. He never imagined that this ordinary energy would soon course through his veins, changing him forever. He was just an ordinary guy, living an ordinary life, until it wasn't ordinary anymore. It was a day like any other. The air hung heavy with humidity, and the city swirled outside the power station. Jason was doing his routine checkup, the rhythmic hum of the generators a lullaby he'd grown accustomed to. Then, without warning, everything went haywire. Alarms blared, lights flickered violently, and a surge of raw power ripped through the substation. Jason, caught in the maelstrom of energy, felt a searing pain course through him before everything went black. When Jason woke up, the sterile white walls of the hospital reflected the harsh fluorescent lights above. He felt disoriented, his head throbbing with a dull ache. The doctor informed him he'd been lucky. The electric shock should have killed him, but somehow, he'd survived. They called it a miracle. Jason just felt confused. He remembered the blinding flash, the searing pain, and then nothing. Now, lying in this hospital bed, he felt different. Changed. Like something had awakened within him. As days turned into nights, Jason couldn't shake off the feeling that something was different. His senses felt heightened. He could hear the nurses whispering from down the corridor, smell the faintest hint of antiseptic in the air. Even the hum of the hospital's electrical system seemed amplified, vibrating in his very bones. He dismissed it as side effects of the accident, but deep down, a thrilling yet terrifying possibility began to take root in his mind. The hospital couldn't hold him long. Physically, Jason healed quickly. It was like his body had been supercharged, humming with an unfamiliar energy. But mentally, he grappled with the changes. One evening, alone in his room, he reached for a glass of water. As his fingers brushed against the metal pitcher, a spark jumped, bright and hot. The water in the glass rippled, then froze solid. Jason stared, open-mouthed, at the ice in his hand. This was no freak occurrence. This was him. Fear warred with fascination. Jason spent his days after the hospital release exploring his powers, each spark of electricity, each involuntary jolt, confirming what he desperately tried to deny. He wasn't just Jason anymore. He was electric. The realization was both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because he was something more than ordinary, something extraordinary. Terrifying because he had no idea what to do with this power surging through him. He tried to confide in his friend Ali, but the words caught in his throat. How do you tell someone you can control electricity? Ali would think he was crazy. So Jason kept his secret, practicing in the dead of night, pushing his abilities, testing his limits. He could feel the electricity thrumming beneath his skin, potent and unpredictable. He was a living, breathing conductor, but he was also in danger of becoming a walking disaster zone. Jason's small apartment became his training ground. He started small, focusing on controlling the intensity of the sparks, trying to direct the flow of electricity. He devoured books on electrical engineering, poring over diagrams of circuits and transformers, trying to understand the science behind what was happening to him. He pushed himself further, testing his limits, learning from each small success and occasional explosive failure. One night, frustrated by his lack of progress, Jason hurled a metal spoon across his apartment. It clanged against the wall, leaving a dent, but as it fell, he instinctively reached out, not with his hand but with his will. A jolt of electricity shot out from his fingertips, catching the spoon mid-air, suspending it before him. He gently lowered it to the ground, heart pounding, a grin spreading across his face. He was getting there. He could do this. He learned to channel his power, to make it an extension of himself. He could feel the city's electrical grid, a symphony of energy flowing through the wires, and he could tap into it, draw from it, amplify it. The possibilities, once terrifying, now crackled with potential. He could be faster, stronger, a human lightning bolt. But what would he do with this power? The question echoed in his mind, demanding an answer. Section 5, With Great Power, the birth of Electricbolt and his moral compass. The answer came, as it often did for Jason, from the pages of a comic book. His gaze fell on the well-worn pages of his favorite superhero comic, the hero standing tall, a symbol of hope against the encroaching darkness. A spark ignited within Jason, not of electricity but of purpose. He may not be a mythical god or a billionaire playboy, but he could be a symbol. He could be hope. He could be Electricbolt. The idea electrifies him. He spends his nights designing a suit, something that would conceal his identity, yet project an aura of power. He scours fabric stores, eventually finding a dark, flexible material that could withstand his powers. He integrates insulated gloves and boots, his mind buzzing with ideas. He adds a mask, the finishing touch, its design inspired by the jagged bolt of lightning that now symbolized his life. It wasn't just the suit, it was the idea of Electricbolt that gave Jason focus. He wasn't just messing around with his powers anymore, he was responsible for them. He had a duty to use them for good, to protect his city, to be the hero Karachi needed. He devoured news reports, his ears tuned to police scanners, searching for any opportunity to make a difference. He knew he couldn't solve all of Karachi's problems, but he could be a beacon in the darkness, a jolt of hope in a city that desperately needed it. Section 6, First Jolts of Justice, Electricbolt's debut on Karachi's crime scene. Word on the street was a new player had entered the game. Whispers traveled through Karachi's underbelly, tales of a shadowy figure who controlled lightning, a vigilante delivering swift justice. The police were baffled, the criminals terrified, and the people? They whispered the name Electricbolt with a mix of fear and hope. Jason, the ordinary electric company worker, was gone. In his place stood Electricbolt, Karachi's electrifying savior. His first act was simple, stopping a mugging in a darkened alley. The mugger never even saw him coming. One moment he was demanding a woman's purse, the next he was sprawled on the ground, entangled in a web of brightly glowing electrical wires. The woman looked up, fear etched on her face, but as Electricbolt helped her to her feet, she saw a glint of something else in his eyes. Hope. More incidents followed. A burning building, people trapped inside. Electricbolt appeared, a blur of speed guiding them through smoke and flames. A car chase, the criminals firing recklessly. Electricbolt intervened, disabling their vehicle with a surge of electricity, leaving them at the mercy of the arriving police. Each act, each daring rescue, cemented his place in Karachi's consciousness. He wasn't just a hero, he was a legend in the making. Section 7, Sparks of Hope, How Electricbolt Illuminated the City's Spirit. Electricbolt's presence electrified Karachi. His actions, captured on shaky cell phone videos, spread like wildfire on social media. He became a symbol of hope in a city grappling with darkness, a testament to the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. People started looking out for each other, inspired by the courage of their electric savior. Even the police, initially wary, began to see Electricbolt as an ally, a force for good in a city riddled with crime. For Jason, the transformation ran deeper than the suit. He wasn't just pretending to be a hero, he was living it. The fear he'd felt initially, the fear of his powers, of being different, was replaced by a quiet confidence. He belonged to Karachi now, to its bustling streets, its resilient people, its electrifying spirit. He was their protector, their guardian angel. And he wouldn't let them down. The city, once shrouded in apathy and fear, started to believe again. Believe in the impossible, believe in heroes, believe in themselves. The spirit of Electricbolt had sparked something within them, a sense of unity, of resilience, of hope. He was more than just a vigilante, he was a symbol of the city's indomitable spirit, a living embodiment of the power that lay dormant within them all. Section 8, The Man Behind the Mask. Jason's double life and the sacrifices he makes. Living a double life was more challenging than Jason could have imagined. The thrill of being Electricbolt, the adrenaline rush of each daring rescue was addictive. But it came at a price. He was forced to distance himself from his friends and family, terrified of exposing his secret, of putting them in danger. He became a ghost in his own life, always watching from the shadows, always ready to disappear at a moment's notice. One evening, after a particularly grueling encounter with a group of black market arms dealers, Jason returned to his apartment, exhausted. He peeled off the Electricbolt suit, the weight of his double life pressing down on him. He missed his old life, the simplicity of it, the normalcy. But he knew he couldn't go back. He was Electricbolt now, and Karachi needed him. He thought about his friend Ali, his laughter, his unwavering loyalty. He thought about his city, the vibrant chaos of its streets, the resilience of its people. He thought about the look on that woman's face the night he stopped the mugging, the flicker of hope in her eyes. And he knew he couldn't abandon them. He was their protector, their silent guardian. He was Electricbolt, and he would bear the burden, even if it meant sacrificing his own happiness. Section 9. Electricbolt's Legacy. A symbol of hope and inspiration for Karachi. Electricbolt's legacy extended far beyond the criminals he apprehended, the fires he extinguished, or the lives he saved. He became a beacon of hope in a city often shrouded in darkness, a symbol of the extraordinary that resided within the ordinary. He showed Karachi that heroes weren't just figures in comic books, they lived and breathed among them, hidden in plain sight. Years later, when Karachi faced its challenges, when the lights flickered and the city held its breath, they would remember Electricbolt. They would remember the young man who dared to be different, who embraced his powers, who fought for them even when they didn't know his name. And in that remembrance, they would find the strength to face their own battles, to ignite their own sparks of hope, and to light up the city with the same electrifying spirit that had once surged through the veins of their electric hero. Electricbolt was more than just a hero. He was a legend, a myth whispered on the streets of Karachi. He was a testament to the power of courage, sacrifice, and hope. He was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a single spark can ignite a revolution, and an ordinary young man can become a symbol of extraordinary hope.